Hello guys, welcome back to Car Obsession and welcome to another walk around. If you are new to my channel or perhaps new to this format of video on my channel, let me briefly explain. I will walk around the car, talk you through the specification and give you my first impressions. Therefore, it is pretty much a static review of a car. If you are new to my channel, my name's Aaron. If you like what you see, be sure to subscribe and to click the bell icon. Anyway, on to this week's car, which is the brand new Hyundai INSTER. This is a small, bold, quirky EV that I would say is going up against cars such as the Renault 5 E-Tech. This is available in 3 trim levels, 01, 02 and INSTER Cross, with respective starting prices of £23,505, £26,755 and £28,755. The car you see before you is the 02 trim level, so as such I get 17-inch alloys, tinted rear windows, keyless entry, roof rails, LED lights all around, and I will talk you through the interior features in due course. Now, I say this isn't my car, this has been loaned to me by Hyundai UK and I've had this car for the week. Now, this car is finished in the dusk blue matte paintwork, which I think is really fetching and I think looks really smart. Although, having said that, I haven't seen this on the online configurator, so I'm not too sure whether you can actually spec a brand new Hyundai INSTER in this colour. But yeah, this car is finished in the dusk blue, which I think looks brilliant. Now, although this is a small car, in fact, this is actually around 10 centimetres shorter in length compared to the Renault 5 E-Tech. Although this is a small car, it's got quite a fair sized boot. So let me head over that way and talk you through it. Now, it'd be interesting to read what you think about this car, guys, in regards to how it looks, because on social media and the people I've spoken to whilst I've had this car, like the Santa Fe I had last week, the opinions have been mixed. I really dig the styling of this car. It looks bold, it looks funky, it looks quirky. But yeah, let me know what you think, guys. Anyway, onto the boot. Oh, so that's just bursting out. So as always, the boot is filled with my filming crap. I will cut to a clip where the boot is a little emptier. But this car, because this is the 02 trim level, as standard, you get the rear seats which slide forwards or backwards. Now, if you have the rear seats slid all the way backwards, the boot decreases to 238 litres. But if you have the rear seats slid all the way forwards, the boot increases to 351 litres, which I think is pretty impressive for a car of this size. It's not too far behind some medium-sized hatchbacks, so very good. Now, if you go for the 01 trim level, which hasn't got the sliding rear seats and it's got the fixed rear seats, you have a boot capacity of 280 litres, which I think even that is pretty respectable. That isn't too far behind what the Ford Fiesta used to give you. Now, if you want more space in the INSTER, whether you have the 01 trim level or the 02 or the INSTER Cross, of course, you can fold down the rear seats to liberate 1,059 litres. There is a storage area underneath the boot floor for your charging cables, which I can't get to at the moment for obvious reasons. You do have a kind of makeshift parcel shelf as well. In fact, as you'll see, you've got these little prongs here that clip into the headrest. When you have the rear seats slid all the way forwards, obviously these are more taut and have more tension, and you can actually rest items on them as well. Now, let me move on to the rear. Now, as always, the driver's seat has been set for me. I'm 6'2", so I am, of course, a taller chap. But as you can hopefully see, the rear space I have to step into is very impressive. It's worth noting, I thought this seat was slid forwards a little bit. It isn't. It's just the backrest is a little bit more upright. But yeah, the rear seat is slid all the way backwards. And as you will see in just a few moments, I've got plenty of space in which to step into. I mean, look at that. Loads of knee room, and if I bring you down here, hopefully you'll see I've got plenty of legroom as well. I know the lighting is a bit iffy. Because this car's got a somewhat boxy nature, I've also got an ample amount of headroom as well. So look at that. Pretty good. So if you are a taller person in the back of the INSTER, fear not. It's worth noting, in case you don't know, this is a 4-seater. Therefore, you can only get 2 adults in the back. But in all honesty, because this car is so narrow, I think you'd have no hope getting 3 people in the rear, even if it was 3 children. Now, speaking of children, if you're more concerned about carrying children in the back. There are, of course, ISOFIX points, but let's be honest, in this day and age, that almost goes without saying. Now, as I hinted towards earlier, the rear seats also recline, so if I could be a bit difficult to do this whilst holding a camera, but if I just pull that lever back like so, look, I can lay back and relax, so I can have a siesta if I really wanted to, or if I want to be a bit more upright, I can do so just like that. So the flexibility and versatility of the rear seats in the Inster is very impressive, but there is a downside to the back of the Inster: practicality, or should I say lack of it. Now, the seats are practical, but in regards to storage areas, there really isn't many of them at all. In the rear door bins, you do have a bit of space, so although that's more of a door grab, you can pop some chewing gum in there, I suppose, and I was able to fit my sunglasses case in there. But the door bins are quite narrow. You definitely couldn't fit a bottle in there, and in fact there's nowhere in the back at all to pop any bottles. There's nothing in the rear seats, nothing there, so nothing in the back of the front seats, I should say. There's no cup holders down here. You do have a Type-C USB port just down there in the back of the driver's seat, and you've got a hook up there, but other than that, practicality in the rear is lacking. Now, as an optional extra, you see this this area here, you can actually have a table installed there, if I'm not mistaken, but yeah, practicality in the rear is, in my opinion, quite disappointing. Anyway, oh, I forgot to mention, you can fit your feet underneath the driver's seat as well. Now, just for argument's sake, if I wanted to have the seat more further forwards to have better boot space, I'd say the rear seat is slid about halfway forwards. I've still got an agreeable amount of knee room and leg room. Not loads, but oh, lighting's iffy. Not loads, but enough to be getting on with. Right, let's step out the car, which is quite nice to do because it's got quite hot this afternoon in the UK. Now, just for context, that's how far you can slide the rear seats forward. Not enough leg room for me, but for someone of a smaller nature, might be enough. Another good thing about the versatility of this car is that the rear seats fold flat, which will make it easier to get larger, heavier items in. You have to excuse my filming stuff in the car. I did have someone criticise another walk around video a few weeks ago, saying that it would have been nice to see the interior of the car without clutter in it, and I do kind of appreciate that, but yeah, I need somewhere to put my filming stuff, and it isn't always practical to have it outside because I'm just lugging equipment in and out of the car, so it is a bit of a faff. But I will hopefully insert clips where you have a cleaner look of the interior. Now, stepping into the front of the car, there are no electronic adjustments for the driver's seat, but I wouldn't really expect them of a car of this price and budget. Even so, getting a comfortable driving setup for me was an absolute doddle. The steering wheel adjusts for rake and reach like so. There we go. And yeah, like I say, I found it easy to get a comfortable driving setup. In regard to practicality, again, like the rear doors, the front door bins are quite slim, they're quite narrow. You can't fit a bottle in them, but you do have two cup holders in the middle, which are actually integrated into the driver's seat. The only thing worth noting is that depending on what bottle or cup you have in the rear cup holder, well, it's quite warm now, it's annoying. I've not had any of that yet, it's quite warm in the UK. Anyway, yeah, the armrest does obscure into this cup holder. Not a complaint as such, more of an observation, so just bear that in mind. But there's worse things in life. You have a wireless phone charging pad just in here, although I have found it to be quite temperamental. It hasn't worked with my Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra at all, and it was temperamental with my wife's Google Pixel Pro 9. It did work with her phone eventually, but for whatever reason with my phone, it just, yeah, it hasn't worked. You do have a 3-pin socket down here, which is part of the optional tech pack. And that means you have vehicle to load capability. You've got a storage area just here, quite small, but you can fit a chocolate bar or a few small snacks in there. An area up here, more of a ledge, more of a shelf. And I've got my sound meter in here. So for context, that's 70 miles per hour. This was recording 68.7 decibels. So yeah, even though it's a slightly taller car, a bit boxy, it's still quite on the move. And we finished with the glove box, which isn't the largest, but I wouldn't say it's the smallest. It's quite average in size. In regards to the interior features, so let's turn the car on. I can talk you through them. It will start to play my music via the Bluetooth in a moment, so I will need to be very quick to mute it for YouTube copyright purposes. But you have a 10.25 inch touchscreen and a 10.25 inch digital driver's display. As you can see, well, you'll see in a few moments these dials change with the drive modes. Just waiting for it to connect to my Bluetooth. It hasn't yet. You have 4 drive modes available. Oh, hang on a minute. I think it's going to play on music now. There we go. 4 drive modes available. So this is normal. You have Sport, Snow, and Eco. And you have the drive mode button there. You might not be able to see it in this light, but the lights on the steering wheel do change as you go through each driving mode. Like I say, a bit difficult to really see it, but it's quite funky. These lights also correspond to the charging status of the car as well. And if you pop the car into reverse, as you can hopefully see, they turn red, just to remind you that you're in reverse. Actually, whilst I'm here, that's what the reversing camera looks like. You have front and rear parking sensors. So on the base model, you get the camera and the rear parking sensors, but you don't get front parking sensors. Right, let's pop it in park before I forget and I plough into a bush behind me. You have climate control as standard. Better still, oh, let's move the armrest. I went to put my arm on the armrest and forgot it wasn't there. Almost fell over. So yeah, one thing I really like about the inside of the Insta is that you have physical buttons for the climate control, which in 2025, yeah, it's almost unheard of. As standard on the 02 trim level, you get heated front seats, which on a day like today, I don't need. And if I bring you down here, you get a heated steering wheel as well. I'm going to leave that door open because it's getting really warm in here. I mentioned the 3-pin socket. You have 3 charging ports as standard, a Type-C, a 12-volt and an old school USB port. I've mentioned the glove box, haven't I? Yes. You do also get a good amount of safety features on this car, but I'd say some of them are a little bit annoying. Now, you may have spotted on the camera, you have these 2 pink dots, invisible to the naked eye, but these are sensors. I think these might be infrared, come to think of it, that detect whether or not you're looking forwards on the road whilst you're driving. You may think that's a good thing, but I find this feature particularly annoying. The reason being is that it's quite overzealous and it's quite naggy. For example, I was driving this 2 days ago. I checked my near side door mirror to make sure that I was okay to change lane, and the car moaned at me for not looking forwards. Granted, I wasn't looking forwards, but I was briefly checking my mirrors just to make sure I was safe to move over, and I got moaned at by the car. So yeah, if you go in here, actually, vehicle, the touchscreen works well, but it can be a little bit laggy sometimes. So as you can hopefully see, it's not the most responsive, but yeah, forward attention warning. I always turn that off because yeah, that feature is annoying. As you can see, it's still on, but it won't nag me for briefly looking away from the road. So just to talk you through some of the other features, you have speed limit assist. You've got autonomous emergency braking, and you've got what else? You've got forward safety, lane safety. You've got lane keep assist. You've got a good amount of safety features in this. One thing I was surprised by in this car, you don't get blind spot monitoring. I thought for this price you may have got that feature, but you don't, which it's not a complaint as such, it's more of an observation. But anyway, one thing I haven't mentioned up until this point is the batteries and the performance. I've just realised I've not even gone through that. So I will briefly show you the electric motor, but I mean, it's not really much. Be quiet. It's mainly because I left the ignition on. It's not really much to look at. Just a big silver block with orange tubing coming off it. But you have, sorry, let's just pop the bonnet stay like so. So for the Insta, you have 2 choices of batteries, a 42 kilowatt hour or a 49 kilowatt hour, which is what is fitted to this car, the 49 version. Now, if you go for the 42 kilowatt hour battery, that offers, I believe, 87 horsepower along with 147 Newton meters of torque. This, as I mentioned, is the 49 kilowatt hour, so you get 115 horsepower along with the same amount of torque, i.e. 147 Newton meters. If you prefer that in pound-feet, I will drop that as a caption below. Now, granted, I'm sure the performance stats won't really be of interest to you, but this car will hit 62 miles per hour in 10.6 seconds. And if you go for the 42 kilowatt hour battery. I believe that's 11.7 seconds. Top speed of this car, I'll have to insert it as a caption actually. I think it's 93 miles per hour. I think the lower car is 87 miles per hour, but I'm doing all these figures off the top of my head. This is from memory, guys, so it's inevitable I'm going to get one or two wrong. Now, range, that is of course an important thing. If you go for the 42 kilowatt hour battery, you get a range a little over 200 miles. If you go for this car, this will give you up to 229 miles. Now I say up to because that is dependent on which alloys you go for. If you go for the 15-inch alloys, you get 229 miles of range, whereas this car has these 17-inch alloys, and therefore the range drops down to, I think it's 223, so not a massive amount of difference. Although having said that, I charged this overnight, and when I started the car, I actually had 242 miles of range, which was quite impressive, more than what the car should be giving me. So that's the range. Oh, charging times, yes. So again, I'm doing this from memory. If you go for the 49 kilowatt hour battery, to get this from 0 to 100% using a 7 kilowatt charger, I believe it is 6 hours 44 minutes. And if you go for the 42 kilowatt hour battery, again using a 7 kilowatt charger to get from 0 to 100%, I believe at 6 minutes, sorry, 6 minutes, that would be quick, sorry, 6 hours, 5 minutes. In regards to fast charging times and slow charging times, I'll drop them that information on the screen right about now. But there's nothing else I can really think of to tell you about this car. If you have any questions about this car, let me know. I'll drop them in the comment section and I'll answer you as quickly as I can and to the best of my ability. It's worth noting I've only got this car for a week from Hyundai UK, so I can't answer any long-term ownership kind of questions, and by the time you watch this video, this car would have gone back to Hyundai UK, so I will be somewhat limited in regards to the answers I can give depending on the questions that you ask me. Anyway, let's close the bonnet down. And I will conclude this video. Let's pop it down like so. So let's have one last walk around the brand new Hyundai INSTER. Let me know what you think about the styling. I really dig it, but I don't think it's going to be everyone's cup of tea, but hey, it's distinctive and different, and I think that's one thing that's lacking in the car market at the moment, particularly with the influx of Chinese SUVs that are coming over here, all of which look pretty generic if you ask me, and looks as if they've just gone into chat GPT and said, design me a car that looks like something else on the market. Is that a cynical point of view? Probably, but hey, hopefully you kind of see where I'm coming from. Anyway, time to conclude before I go off on a massive tangent, which is something I like to do. So if you have enjoyed this video or found it useful, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. But until the next time, guys, be sure to keep up the car obsession.